And so here you can see a fully grown pennycress plant.
Wolfgang Busch holds up a transparent pot full of pennycress roots. He's leading the effort to figure out how plants with deep root systems can help slow global warming.
So plants are, the world record holders in getting carbon dioxide out of the air that causes the greenhouse effect and thereby climate change, and they grow everywhere.
And some plants are particularly efficient at transforming that carbon into stems, leaves, and roots. The root systems have the attention of researchers who see this trait as a key to getting carbon out of the air and stored in the ground.
Now, the deeper you put that carbon in the root system, the slower the decomposition gets. So carbon that is below 30 centimeters, below a foot in the soil is much, much more stable, will hang around much longer in the soil. So by putting more and more of the root material at the deeper, in the deeper soil layers, will allow this carbon to stay there in the soil to store this carbon for longer.
Busch says researchers have already identified more than 100 genes that guide the creation of deep and robust root systems. They hope to either breed those traits into crops or use modern gene splicing technology to give those abilities to the most commonly grown plants.
If you just take, 5 major crops, the most prevalent crops, and you would pool their growth area, it would cover the whole subcontinent of India. It's like so much soil being covered by these plants, and even though even if a plant will do very little on its own, the massive scale of agriculture can make a dramatic impact.
The Harnessing Plants initiative was an idea germinated by Salk researcher Joanne Corey. She thinks new and improved plants can increase crop yields, boost soil quality, and scrub carbon out of the air.
I think we could take out 10 gigatons by this method. That's not the whole amount we need to take out every year, but we could make a big contribution to the whole.
10 gigatons is about a quarter of the carbon dioxide that humans put into the air each year. One particular plant of interest is Typha, cattails. The plant is robust and it produces a prodigious amount of seeds.
It's one of the 3 species that grows almost in all wetlands. And we find it as a primary species in some of the wetlands here that we're interested in restoring.
Michael handles a mature cattail plant with a tightly wound ball of roots.
And the roots grow so fast. This is an amazing plant. It's like a machine sucking up nutrients.
He says the plant is one of the best at moving carbon into a corked molecule known as suberin. Michael is trying to isolate the genetic characteristics that allow cattails to do that, and the hope is those abilities can be transferred to other plants.
They grab onto the surrounding substrate and they build. So they are basically building land, and you can see that they're sort of tight, and this is actually what's capturing the carbon, and this becomes oxygen free.
And sealing out oxygen keeps the roots from decomposing. It essentially locks the carbon inside the root ball. 2 years of sequencing Typha genomes has pointed researchers in encouraging directions, but the goal of an army of plants fighting global warming remains decades away.
There are a lot of recent events that suggest that we need to be moving fast. And some of the solutions that we're talking about are 10, 20 years out. But we need to be working on them now, because this is really what technology is really about, right? We need to be working on every angle. So not just, carbon scrubbers, but how do we use plants? We need to cut down on emissions. All of these solutions come together.
The idea's promise has attracted plenty of supporters. Energy companies like the Hess Corporation and Sempra Energy are investing money. So is the Bezos Earth Fund and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. All hope to leverage their investments into strategies that will keep the planet from heating up. Erik Anderson, KPBS News.